Alright, so the last video focused on equations of circles, but it focused mostly on using those in one particular form. Okay, so that was our x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals 9, where you could immediately know that the center is -3, the radius is, the other part of the center is 1, and the radius is 3. Alright, but this is not always the way that you are going to be given the equation of a circle. Sometimes the equation of a circle can be given in what we call the expanded form, which means instead of these being in parentheses, they would be multiplied out. So let me show you what an expanded form looks like using this equation of a circle. So instead of having just x plus 3 squared, let's expand these out like we would multiply them, y minus 1 times y minus 1, and then let's actually expand them. So I'm going to distribute. I'm going to have x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9, and then that's plus, now I'm going to do the y's over here. So it's going to give me y squared minus 1y minus 1y plus 1 equals 9, and then I'm going to combine my like terms. I've got my x's here, so I would have x squared plus 6x. I have my 2y's over here, so I would have plus y squared minus 2y, and then my whole numbers, which would give me plus 10, and that equals 9. Then sometimes it might be set equal to 0, so if we wanted to set this equal to 0, we would subtract 9 from both sides. And so this being an expanded form would be x squared plus 6x plus y squared minus 2y plus 1 equals 0. Sorry, I ran out of room there. So sometimes you'll be given it in this form, and you'll be asked, what is the center and what is the radius? So you have to know the method to go from this form to this form. So it's a version of factoring, but now instead of just having one variable, we have two variables, and you have a completely new method. So you're going to be learning some steps on how to do this. So you need pencil and paper. Whether you're going to get points for taking notes is up to you if you want to show them to me, but these steps are imperative for what we are about to do. So you need to write these down. These will count as your notes for the video if you copy these notes down. So the method we're going to be using is called completing the square, okay? Completing the square. This is a set of steps that you have to memorize, okay? It's not so much that it is something that will make perfect sense in a mathematical form and this light bulb is going to go off. These are a method to getting an answer, okay? Step-by-step instructions. So you need to get these down. So this is a different problem. So in white right here, this would be the problem that you're given, and you would be asked to find the center and the radius of the circle. So I'm going to go through these steps one by one and talk to you about how to do this. So look at your yellow step first. Okay, that's the step above that line. So copy this down. We've got your first step is to move the constant. That would be the number that does not have a variable with it to the other side of the equal sign. So you do not want this set equal to 0. What you want is you want everything with a variable on one side, everything without a variable on the other. So that's step 1. Then, step 2, our pink step right here. We're going to take those x's and y's and we're going to group them together in parentheses. So you'll see all I'm going to do is rearrange this so that my x's are together. My 10x squared minus 10x is in parentheses, and my y squared plus 6y is in parentheses, and I still have my negative 10 out here. Okay, so that's step 2. Step 3 is where it gets a little tricky. These are the things that you have to memorize. You are going to take the x and the y terms, that's these, you're going to divide them by 2, and then square that number. Okay, so you're going to divide your x term by 2, and then you're going to square that number. You cannot forget this step. So look at what I've done. You'll see here I did negative 10 divided by 2 equals 5, and then I did 5 squared equals 25. Then I did 6 divided by 2 equals 3, 3 squared equals 9. You add those numbers to each parentheses and to the other side of the equal sign. So now you'll see we have x squared minus 10 plus 25, y squared plus 6y plus 9, and then I'm also adding them to the other side of the equal sign. So again, guys, these are steps. These are steps to solving what you need to solve for, how to find the center and the radius. We're going back to that equation of a circle. Okay, now we've got some more steps, so I'm going to go to the next page. I left my green step up at the top. You'll see I've still got where I added it to the parentheses and where I added it to the other side of the equal sign. Now, your last step is to factor each parentheses, but this time it's going to be super, super easy because the factors are always the same. That number right here, this 25 and 9, those are always going to be perfect square roots, okay? So, whatever two numbers that are the same that multiply to give you that, have to add to give you the middle number. So, for x squared minus 10x plus 25, my two factors are x minus 5x minus 5. For y squared plus 6y plus 9, my two factors are y plus 3, y plus 3. And then I combine these numbers, the negative 10, the 25, and the 9, and I get 24. So look, that's it. That is it, guys. You are done at this point because x minus 5 is the same as x minus 5 times x minus 5 is x minus 5 squared. X minus 3 is the same, or x minus plus 3 times x plus 3 is the same as x plus 3 squared, and that equals 24. So once you have gotten to this form, you know that your center is the opposite of what's in the x parentheses and the opposite of what's in the y parentheses, and the radius is the square root of the number after the equal sign. So it's the square root of 24, which simplifies to be 2 square root 6. So let's do this one. So I want you to follow along with your steps, okay? So here we're going to start off by moving everything that doesn't have a side of the equation. That was step 1. So I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides, and I'm going to have x squared plus 8x plus y squared plus 6y equals negative 15. Okay, so I'm going to group my x's and my y's together. That's supposed to be a 6y, sorry. So I'm going to group those together. They're already in the right order, so that makes it easier. So I'm going to take that number in front of the x term, and I'm going to divide it by 2, and then I'm going to square it. So 8 divided by 2 gives me 4, and then 4 squared is 16. So now I'm going to have 8 squared plus 8x plus 16. Then I'm going to do 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. 3 squared equals 9. So I'm going to have y squared plus 6x plus 9. And that equals, so we're going to add those two numbers over here, so plus 16 plus 9. So that gives me 10. All right, now you know that we're going to have the two squares are going to go right here. So the two numbers that multiply to give me 16 and add to give me 8 that match are 4. So x plus 4 squared, and then y plus 3 squared equals 10. So my center is at -4, -3, and my radius is the square root of 10. So that's it. That's how you do this. I know this video was a little bit longer than usual, but I wanted to make sure to show you another example.